Well, it's position preview of the offensive tackles and bookend tackles. Mason, it feels so good. It feels good to be out of the quarterback conversation. And for a while now, it feels good to have an incredible left tackle and an incredible right tackle.
Yeah. Tackles that you don't worry about. The Broncos have a pair of highly paid tackles, and these are tackles that are frankly worth it. I mean, okay, neither of them is an all-pro, but they're both good. I mean, last year, for example, Mike McGlinchey, 6th in the league, according to ESPN Analytics, in pass block win rate among offensive tackles, and Garett Bolles, 7th in the league in pass block win rate. Pretty good.
Yep. Out there with Bo Nix, and
yep.
Boy, those sacks go down when Bo Nix is out there slinging the rock, getting rid of the football on time, but well-protected, ability to step up and climb the ladder.
Yes.
Because the two guys on the outside can get it done. We'll talk about the young guys behind him in the future of the position. But we just got to start with praising both McGlinchey and Garett Bolles. What a journey for Bolles, from first round potential bust to Broncos Ring of Fame.
Ooh, that's interesting, because what he's missing, unfortunately, is league-wide honors in a big way, right? If Garett Bolles had an all-pro nod at some point, I think we would be talking about him being in the Ring of Fame conversation. Unfortunately, right now, because he doesn't have, I mean, I hate to say Pro Bowl in that, because Pro Bowl is really something that doesn't have much value anymore.
Popularity contest.
It's a popularity contest, no doubt. But right now, Garett Bolles, all he has to his name is second team All-Pro back in the COVID year, 2020. And that sort of works against him for being a Ring of Famer. So I don't really know. He's going to need to be a part of some teams that accomplish something of major significance, and he's going to need to be a first-team All-Pro at some point. Or he's going to have a ridiculously long career. Like, he's going to have to play forever. I mean, like, he jokes that now he's the old guy. He actually talked about that at Vinny Camp. Let's actually play that soundbite.
Well, hopefully I can do one more. That's my goal. We can talk about that later, but I'm just grateful to be here, man. This organization has given me everything. The state has given me everything, the fan base, the love I have for all my teammates, and, being the old guy, it feels weird. I remember, a couple years ago when I was talking to Vaughn, and we discussed about, me being here a long time, and now it just feels so weird, being that guy. But I'm just super grateful. I have an amazing coaching staff that believed in me, and that's all it takes. Once you believe in me, I'll run through a wall for you. So I'm glad to be here. I don't think too much about the future or anything like that. I just focus in the now and what that's going to bring to me, and just get ready to protect Bo as much as I can.
One more contract. That's what he's talking about, of course, because he just got the contract. This is third contract.
Three
contracts.
As an older rookie when he came into the league, to think
Yes.
that Garett Bolles has been here long enough as a starter to get 3 contracts.
The age thing was something people made a big deal about when he was picked, of course, and it came up. And he was 24 when he was drafted. He was 25 when he made his regular season debut back in 2017, because he had his birthday, of course, in May of 2017. That's when he turned 25. And you compare that to the other guy that was picked at tackle in the first round in that draft. That, of course, was Ryan Ramczyk, picked by Sean Payton by the New Orleans Saints out of the University of Wisconsin. So Ryan Ramczyk, when he was drafted, was 23. He had actually just turned 23 and played his rookie season at the age of 23. And Ryan Ramczyk, first team All-Pro, 2-time second team All-Pro. Garett Bolles has 1 second team All-Pro to his name. Ryan Ramczyk's career is done. He retired earlier this year. Injuries caught up to him. So, chronologically speaking, 2 years younger, and his career is over. Garett Bolles, considered to be overaged by a lot of draft nicks, just signed his 3rd contract. Incredibly healthy, it would seem. Knock on every surface you can find. Of course, he had the leg injury back in 2022, but he's played all 34 games since then. He plays a position where if you have good health, you can keep going. Think of what we've seen from players in recent years. Think of Andrew Whitworth and how long he went. Think of how Trent Williams is still going, right? I mean, it's when Garett Bolles gets up there and jokes about a 4th contract, it's not the craziest thing, Cease. That to sit here with Garett Bolles as he just turned 33 years old and is embarking on this new contract that he just signed. Garett Bolles might have another contract in him. He just, here he is about to embark on a 4-year deal. Although with the void years, there's a bunch of void years on there, but just ignore them. It's a 4-year deal. Who's to say that? They might have there might be another contract beyond that if he keeps playing well.
Yeah. Whitworth, Jason Peters played for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Bolles has years left.
Yeah. He might have more than 4 years left. And you don't want to have to worry about tackle. And if he keeps playing at this level, sees, okay, maybe he's not an all-pro, but he's a top 10 left tackle in this game. You can win with a top 10 left tackle. And if he keeps being a top 10 left tackle, you happily keep re-signing him. The old days of Garrett holds, that's gone.
Holding number 72.
Oh, I remember a few years ago on Valentine's Day, I said, roses are red, violets are blue, holding offense number 72.
Yes.
Remember the game against Chicago in his 3rd year? It was the second game that Mike McGlinchey had been a regular season offensive line coach. Second regular season game for which Mike McGlinchey had been the O-line coach. And it got so bad that there was a clear hold on Bolles, but they didn't want to give him another penalty. And so the flag was given to Ron Leary. The officials took pity on Bolles.
Yeah.
Because they knew the poor guy was just going to get booed into oblivion by the home fans. And even after 2020, when he had that second team All-Pro season, 2021 wasn't as good. And I do think there was something to the whole thing of he had his best year for a while in the year that fans weren't in the stands.
And they weren't calling holding as much.
Yes. Like 2020 was the year they let a lot of things go.
They did.
They let a lot of things go, and also no crowd noise meant it was easy to run an offense. You didn't ever have to go silent count. You could just basically run it in a vacuum. And that's why 2020 had offensive numbers beyond anything we've ever seen. Maybe they also just wanted to keep people watching somehow. It was like, let's just get the entertainment value off the charts because people are stuck at home. I don't know what was going on that year. But to Garett Bolles' credit, he has proven in the last 2 seasons that he can play terrific football in a normal environment. Sean Payton and Zach Strief have a lot to do with that as well.
Bo Nix has something to do with it as well, because much like Peyton Manning, I mean, Ryan Clady was banged up when Peyton was here,
Yeah.
so we didn't have the benefit, and especially in the Super Bowl 48 run and that incredible offense, it's like, man, Clady would have just been healthy. But Peyton made his tackles look better because he got rid of the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, think of how Bo Nix is impacting Garett Bolles' career. And Bolles with his athleticism, even though we've seen freaks like Trent Williams play where he's just massive and throws you around, and he was able to play forever and ever and ever, kind of like Jason Peters.
Yeah.
Bolles' skill set is athleticism, so not that brute strength, which can go away. Athleticism can as well, but it's more technical, almost like a Whitworth, although Whitworth had great size too. But I think Bo Nix helps extend things for Bolles.
I think he can as well. And not only that, his athleticism, and the other thing that I think helps him is he didn't grow up playing football, so he's relatively fresh. And this is another thing. He came to football so late that when he came into the league, okay, he's 25 years old when he makes his regular season debut. Garett Bolles is 25, is not like a lot of other guys 25. His 25 is like 20 in terms of wear and tear compared to a lot of other players. I mean, he grew up playing lacrosse. But there's another thing. You talk about athleticism. What are you doing when you play lacrosse? You're running all over the place.
Right.
One of the things that you still like watching with Garett Bolles, okay, here he is getting into his early to mid 30s. It's still a thing of beauty to watch him get downfield and block. Get into open space and make that extra block downfield. That's one of my favorite things to see from number 72. You've got a play that's extended, and he doesn't quit. Like that's another beautiful thing about him is that his job isn't done when he's protected the quarterback, and he understands that he's going to make that extra block to help spring the receiver. If he's got the opportunity to do that, he's damn well going to do that. He doesn't turn off. He always keeps fighting, always keeps battling. You can't put a value on that.
Right.
And then there's the intangible like loyalty. I mean, he is. I don't know if there's a guy who's more loyal to the Denver Broncos than Garett Bolles.
Mike McGlinchey figured it out as well, and we don't necessarily need to get into it because it's old. It's in the past. But there were teams that took Garett Bolles off their board, and they figured out McGlinchey specifically, like, just love him up.
Yeah,
like love him up. And once you love him up, and he knows that you can still get on him. It's not like you can't coach Garett Bolles, obviously, but once he knows you love him, he's going to be able to take that chewing.
Yeah.
And focus on the message, maybe not necessarily the manner in which you give the message, but it really unlocked his pro potential.
Yeah. When he knows it's coming from a place of love.
Yeah. And respect.
Yep. And trust.
You don't get that from a lot of coaches because football's about overweight men and windbreakers yelling at you. And you got to coach guys differently. Some players are just going to be coached differently.
And Zach Strief has that same ability that Mike McGlinchey has as well. I mean,
personable.
Yeah. Man, I mean,
intelligent.
Emotionally intelligent. Like not just, I mean, Zach Strief is an incredibly smart guy, and he's a gifted communicator. Remember, before he went into coaching, after his career, he was a broadcaster.
Pretty good one.
The voice of the Saints. Came down from the broadcast booth to coach. Yeah, terrific broadcaster. I mean, this guy's been, played in the NFL, gifted broadcaster, gifted coach, and he's assistant head coach now. I mean, was even a successful was a successful businessman as well. It's like, I mean, what can this guy not do? Right? I mean,
right.
So Renaissance man is Zach Strief, but among his many gifts is emotional intelligence and being able to understand what each of his players needs. and being understand what reaches Garett Bolles in particular. And because of that, he's established this deep trust with Bolles, and Bolles understands that Zach wants the best for him. And what we have seen is now 2 terrific years from Garett Bolles. And it's weird to say this about a guy who's 33 years old and going into his 9th season. But the best for Garett Bolles may still be to come. I mean, we were talking about the Ring of Fame case, and I say, okay, you know, he's probably got to be a first-team All-Pro at some point. There may be a first-team All-Pro nod in Garett Bolles' future. I would not be surprised if that comes for him at some point in the next couple of years. I could see that happening. Part of it is because we've talked about tackles playing great football deep into their 30s. But part of it is also the arc of Garett Bolles and just how much better he's getting in this environment with this coaching staff in this scheme. And then, like you said, Bo Nix being a quarterback who gets the ball out quickly, that's going to make all the tackles look good. Although the run block and pass block analytics, the beauty of those analytics, Cease, is they take the quarterback out of it, because remember, the Broncos were doing well in those analytics in 2023 with Russell Wilson holding the ball forever.
Yes.
That was the thing that told you, okay, we can figure out which piston isn't firing, and the piston that's misfiring isn't the one up front, because those guys, the analytics showed they were doing their job and it was coming together for them. And then it came together even more last year, in part because they had cohesion from being in the second year in the scheme. I remember Zach Streif telling me last year, I expect more from Mike McGlinchey in year 2 as he settles in to this scheme. And that is exactly what happened. Mike McGlinchey had a terrific year last year, and he missed some time. And then you found it something with Alex Palczewski filling in for him as well, which actually brings us to something I want to talk about, because we want to talk about the depth on the offensive line, because you got Palczewski coming back.
Pouch is amazing.
Yeah, as a guy who filled in very well last year.
If he was your starter, I wouldn't even bat an eye.
Palczewski is a very nice security blanket to have there at right tackle. And with McGlinchey, as we've seen, this is a guy who's had some injuries over the years. He's dependable, and he stopped the revolving door at right tackle that had existed for a decade around here. And could McGlinchey be considered maybe an overpay at right tackle? Yeah, perhaps you could say that if you were really just viewing things from a numbers perspective, but I don't think you can put a numerical value on stability at a position where you hadn't had any for a decade, and the Broncos desperately needed that. And also, as Sean Payton often says, it's the offensive line that permeates the building. Getting that right was so important to kickstarting this rebuilding process. And so McGlinchey, in many ways, was a foundational player for really giving that a nitro boost. So for reasons beyond the numbers, McGlinchey was very important to getting this thing going. So he is important, and it was important to give him that contract. But having Palczewski there in case McGlinchey does have a year where he misses 6 to 8 games, which has happened for him, makes you feel good, because we saw last year you could step in, handle the role pretty well.
Right.
You have Matt Parrott on the other side for Garett Bolles. He's somebody who's got some experience as well. He's got some length. He's got some athleticism. But the guy who's probably the most intriguing is somebody that, if you pay attention to where Bo Nix is in the offseason, wherever Bo is in public, this guy is never far behind. And that's Frank Crum.
Great hair.
Majestic hair.
A great athleticism. I've told the story before. I'll keep it somewhat brief, but I was there to see why can't I think of the linebacker now? It's not Logan Wilson, it was the guy after him. So I'm in Wyoming's pro day and I'm watching Chad Muma, and the tackle keeps jumping off the page. And I knew it was Frank Crum, but I was just like, yeah, whatever. And then he was so good. It's not like Muma wasn't good at his pro day, but I just was gravitationally pulled towards Frank Crum.
Easton Gibbs.
Easton Gibbs.
We saw him at the Shrine, remember?
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So they're watching these Wyoming's had some linebackers now.
Oh, yeah.
It was
They always
Frank
have
Crum
linebackers.
who drew my attention away from Easton Gibbs,
Yeah.
who we really, really liked and wanted the Broncos to pick up, and they pick up Crum.
Yeah.
And then what they did with him on the roster, Mace, this was so intriguing last year because it's clear with his traits. He's huge and he's athletic.
Yeah.
He's raw.
Oh,
But boy, did they want to keep him. Very, very rare they would do this for any other player.
let's just say this. You watched the preseason last year. Frank Crum at that moment was not among the 53 best players on the roster and probably wasn't among the best 70 at that moment. Technically had a long, long way to go. I mean, he was getting beat a lot in the preseason games.
Yeah.
So when he was kept, I think it surprised a lot of people. But you can't coach that length. You can't coach that size. And it's like, okay, let's just see where he is in a year. And anyway, it's why when Garett Bolles had a day that he had to be away from OTAs, I looked out on the field and what to my wondering eyes should appear but Frank Crum at left tackle. So I had to ask Sean Payton about Frank Crum because, man, Crum getting those reps with his he's a sidekick of Bo Nix. I'm not going to say Bo Nix is his sidekick. Like it was almost like Frank Crum was a security guard of Bo Nix because, like, whenever Bo went to, well, yeah, Bo would go to an Avs game and there was Frank. Bo goes to a Nuggets game. There's Frank.
He's throwing out the first pitch of the Rockies game, and there's Frank Crum.
There's Frank. Every time Bo goes to an event, Frank's there. Nick Gargiulo and Frank Crum. Those dudes are always there where Bo is. It's
not
hilarious.
nothing, but it's something.
That's a great way of putting it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I had to ask Sean Payton with his raspy voice of off-season work and all. I had to ask, hey, what's your vision for Frank Crum? What do you expect to see from him in year 2?
Look, he's extremely athletic. It's always harder on the big guys because we're not in pads, but he can move his feet really well. And, you know, again, he's a young player who, when you go through these installations, and for him it's his 4th or 5th time now, you know, you're able to play a little faster.
You know, sometimes at these press conferences, I wonder if all the other reporters are just like, really, why are you asking about these guys, Mace?
But if you've been around long enough, you know when we have something to write, we're going to ask about questions if we're going to write something, or in our case, use it for this show.
That was a question I knew that we were going to use for this preview. That's why I asked that.
Yeah. And Frank Crum is a very intriguing left tackle prospect.
Yeah.
Very intriguing.
Like
his traits, the way he can move at that size,
yeah,
it's rare.
I mean, Frank Crum is one of those guys that make me wish that football had a true minor league where you could just have the guy come up and develop for a couple of years and keep him and not have to worry about exposing him to waiver wire or whatever, all that crap. Because, man, I just want to see where he is in 2 years. Mm-hmm. And also, I wish there was a minor league where you could get this guy some reps, right?
Yep.
I mean, I wish NFL Europe still existed or that there was a true minor league, like there was a, Colorado Springs Broncos or Pueblo Broncos or whatever, where we could watch these guys play. Like, it'll never happen, I know, but I wish like every NFL team actually had like 120 or 150 players, and they sent like 50 or 60 to go play on a minor league in the off season, and you and I were just watching them play. That'd be interesting. Like I would love covering a game between the Colorado Springs Broncos and the Reno Raiders in May or something like that. That would trip my trigger. That would be
usually
fun.
Talk about it with quarterbacks, but I do remember Doc, David Diaz-Infante.
Yes.
He played in the World League.
Yeah.
And finished his career in the XFL. He was a teammate of He Hate Me. And of course, Super Bowl champion with the Denver Broncos.
Well, I remember the Broncos getting some guys coming through the NFL Europe. I mean, offensive lineman. Remember Eric Pears about 18 years ago or so? I mean,
was he CSU? Where did he go to college? Seems like I used to remember that. I used to be much stronger, right? But yeah, I mean, that developmental league would be perfect for Frank Crum. So he's going to have to
CSU.
develop.
He was a CSU.
Okay, good.
CSU Ram.
Old memory not failing me yet.
Cologne Centurions in 2006. Wow.
I probably have some of those games on tape.
Well, here's another thing on him. After, he was with the Broncos and then he went to the Raiders and Jaguars, and trying to get back in the NFL, he bounced over to remember the United Football League? Not like of 2010, 2009.
Yeah.
He was an Omaha Nighthawk.
Nice.
In the United Football League. The Omaha Nighthawks, who played at Rosenblatt Stadium, the longtime home of the College World Series.
Very good. Very good. I like it.
Yes. So anyway.
I like Frank Crum. I like the upside here.
Yes, I do too.
Palcho's amazing. I mean, if Crum develops and Palcho's a guy, like, all right, you've got great tackles. You have bookend tackles. You might have bookend backup tackles.
Yeah.
And you may not be able to keep them, unfortunately. We'll see what the future holds, but I like the depth here.
I like it as well. To be honest with you, with Parrott, I was a little bit surprised the Broncos re-signed him because of Frank Crum, and that sort of makes this thing interesting going forward. You have Parrott, who you brought back. So what's the situation there? Is there room for him and Crum as well? That's a real good question, because another thing, like if you cut Matt, I mean, that's $3.245 million of dead money. Pardon me, it'd be $2.495 million of dead money this year and $750 next year to carry over if you cut him. So I mean, there'd be a dead money hit if you moved on from him and you only kept Crum there as a backup. So that's, but at the same time, I think you probably you didn't know where Crum would go. And I think you also want to see Frank Crum, what he does when the preseason games happen as well, because that's going to tell the tale of how much progress he's made. And I think, I'm not sure there are more than 5 players who are going to be more intriguing to watch in the preseason games than Frank Crum sees.
1,000%.
I mean, I can already tell you, like, barring injury, and when I write my first preseason game preview and I say, okay, 5 guys to keep your eyes on, Frank Crum's gonna be one of them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And this is why I pay attention to every game, preseason game, start to finish, so all 60 minutes. It's because of guys like Frank Crum.
Mm-hmm.
He is one of the most interesting people on this team. One of the most interesting
coaches
people.
Are always watching.
Yes. And that's why I asked Sean Payton about Frank Crum, and everyone else asked about Bo Nix and whatever. And I'm asking about the second or third team tackle.
Hey,
This
could be something there.
I'm strange. When I say I'm running my own race as a reporter, I really am running my own race. Like, I'm on my own planet here.
It's fine. It's fine. That's why we love you. Love this team. Love this tackle.
I cover the whole team. I cover the whole 90, man, or 91, because right now it's 91 because Jeremy Crawshaw is the international player. So he counts as an extra until the season. Then he's just going to be one of the 53. So
Right. Okay, Mace, that's a wrap for our tackle show. Fantastic, amazing.
we did a half hour on tackles. I'm so proud of us.
Intriguing. If you watched to the end, give us a thumbs up. If you didn't watch to the end and just skip to this part, give us a thumbs up anyway. Because that's how you help us out, Mace. So let's do our thing.
Like,
Comment,
share,
subscribe,
hit that notification bell.
so that you never miss vid. That's right. It's Andrew Mason. Follow him on all the socials at Mace Denver. I'm at Cecil Lammey saying OBT's BFD. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned.